The one thing I think you said that I might have a different opinion on, I don't
Mhm.
think I think you said women are like traumatized from sleeping around. I don't
No,
really.
no,
I think it's
no.
just like a get out of jail free card they use later. I'm like, you did not look traumatized when you were like hanging out with Tyrone, Chad, Gavin. You seem
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then
So
you're
when
gonna
I
like
use
cry
it,
later. But I think it's just so they could get a husband. Cause like obviously they can't be like, oh, I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. So,
mhm. Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
as a trauma, yeah, as sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
you're
As a
good.
trauma therapist, I actually know what trauma is. So it's
Okay.
very fascinating to see women and people specifically that overuse trauma and everybody that I was with in the past as a narcissist. Like, I actually know what these terms mean and know how to measure them. So when I mean it, what I actually mean is that yeah, they actually increase their chances to experience trauma because
Okay.
you keep dealing with so many men who you haven't probably vetted properly. So yeah, but a lot of times when they're using those words, it's not actually applying to the case.
I know they don't want to vet him properly. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You just want six pack abs. Like, okay, so tell me what you mean by qualified and unqualified men.
So yeah, in my last interview with the ladies at Sharing My Truth podcast, I had mentioned that there were men that were considered qualified and there were men that were considered unqualified, and that their experiences with women tends to be radically different. The men that I would say are qualified are typically men that have good to great income. They meet a certain height requirement, typically 6 feet or above. They're in fairly decent shape, fairly charismatic, confident, desired by multiple women, and respected by multiple men. Those are the men that I would say, and most people would kind of identify as quote unquote qualified to
Hmm.
have options with women, to be able to push off commitment, to be able to sleep with multiple women simultaneously at the same time and never have to lead towards marriage. These are the quote unquote men that qualify to get access to women's
Hmm.
sex, softness, love, intimacy, etc. Whereas the men that are quote unquote unqualified, they're usually missing multiple of those check boxes, if not all of them.
Where
So, yep, go ahead.
where would you put men like? Because there's certain men in just certain environments where they're broke, but they get a lot of women. Like you
Mhm.
know how it is, the salsa instructor, like the club promoter. You know what I mean? Where would you
Mhm.
put them as qualified or unqualified if like they don't have the money, but they
Yeah.
still get women? You know, the
For men,
bartender in LA, they got all the actors. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. For men that are don't check off all the boxes, you typically have to be exceptional at least one or two.
Okay.
So the men that are unqualified are pretty much not doing anything in any of these areas significant
Okay.
to like kind of stand out. So for
Okay.
instance, the guy that's really, really tall and is like pretty charismatic and has nothing else of the things I kind of listed,
Hmm.
he'll do well because
Yeah.
he's exceptionally tall and he knows he's a good talker, right?
Yeah.
So we see it. Whereas the guys who can't talk to women, the guys who are not that tall, the guys that don't make any money, the more it gets to a point where she either friend zones you or doesn't even acknowledge you.
Yeah. You ever meet a guy that gets girls to pay his rent? I've seen
Oh, I'm jealous of them guys, man. Jealous, jealous, jealous of them
that.
guys.
Yeah. Can you talk more about attraction triggers and define what they are?
Yeah, so they're different, obviously on an individual by individual level. But the things that I just listed are
Hmm.
typically from the female perspective, the female side. Typically, some of the key cues that they're looking for. So, from an attraction trigger perspective, women typically don't want to get with the guy that they can't sense that other women also think is attractive. So the problem that we're kind of having in terms of like this whole topic and this
Hmm.
discussion that's going on, when you think about it, is like these women are only picking men that they believe other women want and trying to ensure and guarantee that that guy is going to be monogamous and with them for the rest of their lives. So their attraction triggers are putting them in a small pool, dealing with a small pool of men that they're often being disappointed with as a result. Whereas on the flip side with men, many of their attraction triggers, a lot of women confuse that because they assume that they would be the same. Oh, I make so much money. I make this much money. I have this
Yeah.
degree. I got my own car. I got this. I got that. None of those things apply to men, especially men that have those things. So men, many of our attraction triggers are softness, femininity, nurturing, the desire to potentially start a family, a willingness to be able to listen and learn from him and not feel like she has to constantly lead or dominate. Those are a lot of the things that men are typically looking for, and particularly attracted to. So for whatever reason, it seems like a lot of men aren't checking off the boxes in terms of attraction triggers that women are typically looking for. And unfortunately, in the West, that's probably true to an extent because a lot of the women, unfortunately, in this country and in Canada and in UK and in Australia and other Western countries, they don't desire the need to develop those things that men are attracted to. They just project what they want onto the man and expect him to expect the same from them.